Austin Barnes now available. First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Hi, Austin. Congrats on the Game 1 victory. Kershaw early on in this game had a lot of swing and miss. What were you noticing from him early?
Yeah, just normal Kershaw. He was going after hitters. He was putting them on their heels a little bit. I thought the curveball was keeping him off balance, and the slider was clicking a little bit. The only one that didn't really, kind of just hung up there was the Kiermaier, but I thought he threw the ball really well. Man, he was efficient. He set the tone really well for us.
Was that a curveball that was just dislocated, or was that a hanging slider that Kiermaier hit out?
Yeah, it was a slider. He kind of went with me on that pitch. I feel like, it just hung up a little bit. He put a good swing at it, but he really was efficient tonight, and he really attacked hitters.
Yeah, you mentioned the efficiency. You guys had a 30-minute lull there between the 5th and the 6th inning. Then he comes back out in the 6th and has a quick 1-2-3 inning. Any conversations there about who you might be facing coming up?
Yeah, we're always talking in the dugout, seeing how he's feeling, seeing what's working, seeing what we want to do. But yeah, that was a big shutdown inning after that big inning we had. So that kept the momentum on our side, and we were able to scratch a few more after that.
Next question's from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Austin, it seemed like that first inning, his slider was just a little off. He's mentioned before against San Diego, his slider wasn't just right. How did he get that right? How did that slider look from there on out?
Yeah, we kind of went to the fastball a little bit more towards the end of that inning and the curveball. We talked after that inning. He said he'll find it, and he did. He got a lot of swing and miss at it. He made a lot of big pitches with it. It was that prototypical Kershaw slider that was working towards that. After that first, it was that up and down little slider that was, giving hitters some trouble.
Yeah, it seems like we talk about Mookie every day. It seems to do something every day. What's it like to see someone, that double steal, stealing a base, taking home on that infield hit or that ground ball? What's it like seeing that every day?
He puts pressure on the other team, and when we're ahead, the pressure's big. Just not even on the way he plays, his defense. Those guys in the outfield are amazing. Him and Bellinger, and who was ever in left, Jock, AJ, CT, Kiké. They're ball hawks out there, man. And but yeah, the pressure Mookie puts on other teams is huge for us. We felt it before, when we put in the World Series. So he's bringing a different element to the game for us.
Next question's from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead.
Hey, Austin, was Clayton's stuff noticeably better than it was in Game 4 of the NLCS? I guess just since he had a little bit more time to recover from the back issue?
No, I think his stuff was good both games. That Game 4 of the NLCS, it doesn't take much to ruin a day, and besides those three batters he faced in the 6th, he was throwing the ball really well, and I thought his stuff was good tonight. Just the way it's been in all season, all postseason, he's throwing the ball real well, confident, attacking hitters, and keeping it on their heels.
Next question's from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead.
Just considering how taxed your pitchers were from the 7-game series, and not even really knowing who was going to go in Game 2, how vital was it to get this kind of performance from Clayton to start it off?
It was big. It set the tone. I really do. He after that first inning, he was dominant. He was efficient. And I keep using that word, but he was going after hitters. And then our offense gave us a lead. And when you give us a lead with Kershaw there, we can really get rolling. So that was important.
Next question's from Stephanie Apstein. Go ahead.
Austin, what's the most impressive thing you think Mookie did tonight?
Honestly, his defense is always very, very impressive. I think the double steal is huge. He puts a different aspect in that game for us. Obviously, one out with the runner on second and third is a lot different than running on first and second. So, there's a lot more that can happen. I just love the way he plays. Putting that kind of pressure on those guys is huge.
Thank you.
And I got time for one more. Go ahead, Carrie.
Austin,
Austin, when Clayton couldn't go in Game 1 of the NLCS, how difficult was that on him? And then, but were there also conversations about like kind of looking at the long game and having this opportunity to pitch in this game?
Obviously, it was probably difficult for him, but we have a lot of confidence in all our guys. D-May, Gosselin. I was just as confident. Those guys are young, but they have really, really good stuff, and their demeanors are good. And it seems like the moment's not too big for them, and they proved it. It was unfortunate, but it was the right move, obviously, in the long run.
Thanks, Austin.
Thanks.
Clayton Kershaw now available. First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Clayton, a lot of swing and miss early. How pleased are you with your overall performance today?
Oh, it was just a great game for the whole team, really. I kept us in it long enough there for them to break it open in the fourth or fifth, whatever inning that was. And, I was fortunate to make it through that first. I was bouncing my slider like 48 feet and didn't quite make the adjustment until the second inning. So fortunate to make it through that. But, really after the first, felt pretty good with everything. And, just a great game all the way around for us.
You'll certainly appreciate the run support, and when your position players are up there, you'll take it, certainly. But what goes through your mind as you work through getting back out there after 30 minutes for that sixth inning, and then you go 1, 2, 3? What are you working through when you're sitting in the dugout?
Yeah, it's I've over the years trying to figure out different things to do in between innings to stay loose, and I've got a few different things now where if it goes long enough I can do to keep going. And so that fortunate I get back out there in the sixth and have a quick inning there, but overall stayed pretty loose through it all, so I felt good with it.
Do you scratch your head in amazement at Mookie like we do?
Yeah, Mookie's pretty special. He just he does things on the baseball field that not many people can do, and he does it very consistently, which I think separates him from a lot of guys. And we got a lot of guys like that, which is crazy. But we got a lot of guys doing special things right now. Belly, obviously, Will with big hits, JT, obviously, does what he does, Muntz, Jock, all the way down. It's just, I didn't even say Seager, So it's just like, it's just a special team. It is.
Next question's from JP Hornstra. Go ahead.
Yeah, Clayton, Austin was just on. He was telling us that when you guys spoke after the first inning, that you assured him you'll find the slider, you'll get it back. What gives you that assurance? Like, how do you know in that moment that it's just a matter of time?
Well, I don't really have an alternative. It's I kind of have to figure it out. So, but I had a good idea of what I was doing, and it just took a second for me to kind of figure it out. But made the adjustment that I needed to, and I threw some better ones there throughout the course of the game.
Next question's from Tyler Kepner. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tyler. Next question's from Stephanie Abstein. Go ahead.
Clayton, what's the most impressive thing you saw Mookie do tonight?
Probably hit a home run. I think that's probably the most impressive thing. But like I said before, I think it's just the base running, the consistency of everything that he does, the defense. And so, he does some special things like hit homers and take the extra base and things like that. But I think the day in, day out consistency of what he does on a baseball field separates him. So you might see one game and not really appreciate Mookie to his full potential. But now that we've seen it for a full, COVID shortened, but a full season for us, and you kind of get to appreciate it on a day in, day out basis now.
Next question's from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead.
Hey, Clayton, I know you demand a lot out of yourself regardless, but has it been noticeable to you that on this team, because of the talent that surrounds you, that you don't really have to take on as heavy a burden as you might have in years past? And also, has that been helpful to you?
I don't really think about it like that. We have a job to do as starting pitchers, and we get one day out of 5 to go out and help our team. So, it doesn't really change my thinking or thought process on that day. But, yeah, I mean, when you're on a great team, it makes it easier to have success. You know, like I said before, having 6 or 7 runs there after the 5th inning is awesome, and that's what our team does, just grinds the other guys out, and it's definitely a helpful thing to be on such a great team.
Next question's from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Clayton, you've started game 1, and I think it's 10 or 11 postseason series now. How much weight can a win in game 1 carry?
I mean, game 1's important. It's less so obviously in a 7 game than a 5 or even 3 game that we played this year, but game 1's important, and it's good to get off on that right foot for us. And but we know that it's just 1, and obviously, just from our experience in the last series, coming back from 3-1, that it's not, and being down 0-2 at some point, it's not that they can do it just with a win tomorrow. So for us, knowing what the Rays have, and they got Blake Snell going tomorrow, who's an unbelievable talent, and they didn't really use some of their big horses down in the bullpen. So we know we're in for a tough time tomorrow, and we'll be ready to go, I'm sure of it.
Next question's from Derek Gould. Go ahead.
You've been on a lot of good Dodger teams. A lot of teams have gotten this far. If this team plays at its best, what does it take to beat you guys? Can another team beat you?
I mean, if we play at our best, no. I mean, I don't think. I think we are the best team, and I think our clubhouse believes that. And so, there's going to be certain times where we get beat, and that happens. But as a collective group, if everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing and playing the way they're supposed to, I don't see how that can happen.
Next question's from Dylan Hernandez. Go ahead.
Hey, Clayton, just kind of wondering after a game like this, do you let your mind kind of wander a little bit to like, hey, maybe this is going to be the year, and what it's going to be like, in a couple of days, if you guys close it out, or you immediately just kind of shut that down, kind of move on to the next game?
Yeah, it's hard not to think about, winning. It's hard not to think about what that might feel like, and but I think that's what I have to do. I think that's what we have to do as a team is just tomorrow. Just constantly keep putting that in your brain. Tomorrow, win tomorrow, win tomorrow, win tomorrow, and then you do that 3 more times. Then you can think about it all you want. So it is hard not to let that creep in. But I know that I'm going to pitch again this series. And I know that we got 3 more games to win, and that starts with tomorrow.
Next question's from Andy McCullough. Go ahead.
At this point, like in your career, do you feel a sense of gratitude to be able to play like on this stage with a team this good behind you?
Yeah, so much gratitude. I mean, so thankful. I mean, it's incredible. I don't think nothing is deserved in this game. You don't just because you're here, just because you're on a team, you don't deserve to be a part of anything like this. So it's just an opportunity, man. It's so special, and so yeah, I guess that answers your question. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Next question's from Jeff Wilson. Go ahead.
Clayton, the announced attendance tonight was just over 11,000. Seems like about 10,900 were cheering for the Dodgers. Did you guys feel an advantage, and what did you think about the support you had from the crowd?
Yeah, Dodger fans they travel so well. They're everywhere. They always come out, and so for as much as a home game as we would have liked it to have been and be at Dodger Stadium and have the 56,000 chanting, after everything that's gone on this season, to have 10, 11,000 people in the stands and a good bit of them being Dodger fans is pretty cool, and it definitely helps us to have that type of support for sure.
Thanks, Clayton.
All right, thanks.
First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Cody, you get the scoring going again for this club. What were you waiting on in that particular moment? And you learned your lesson with the toe tap celebration this time?
Yeah, I think I'll continue to do that. Maybe my whole career, who knows? No, as Muncy's on second, I just try to get him in any way possible, jam shot, barrel, anything. And saw a pitch that I thought I could drive and try to put a good swing on it right there.
On the Wendell double in the 7th, is your shoulder on your mind?
Yeah, it was one of those the first time where I challenged it and close to the wall, and then I dropped it, and then my shoulder hit the wall, and then I was like, okay, I'm fine, and then Mookie, CT, like, all right, listen, now you know, and you're going to come up with the catch, later in the game, and luckily I had an opportunity to show I'm all right, and I am all right, and I feel good.
Next question's from JP Hornstra. Go ahead. Go ahead, JP. Next question's from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Cody, we heard so much about their pitching coming into this. How important was it to strike early, and particularly the way you guys did?
I mean, yeah, that's always important in any series, especially the World Series. We did a great job of sticking to our plan. It was a great game overall, and we got to come in tomorrow and do the same thing over again and continue to have fun and grind ABs and play as a team.
That was your third home run in 4 at-bats against Glasnow. What do you like about that?
I don't know. I really don't. He's got really good stuff, and today was just a moment for me where I just tried to get the run in and stayed simple with it.
Next question's from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead.
Hey, Cody, as somebody who's also a 5-tool player, is there anything that you appreciate about his ability to just seemingly have an imprint on almost every game?
Yeah, it's really unbelievable. It's so fun to watch, and we're so lucky to have him on our team. I just say, like, he's a superstar guy, superstar talent, but he does all the little things right, and you can really learn from that when a guy's that good and he just wants to win and, like I said, just continues to do the small things that go unnoticed by a lot of people, maybe not, but it's really special.
Next question's from Kyle Glazer. Go ahead.
Cody, from afar, it looks like you guys are having a lot of fun in the dugout. Is this team playing looser than previous World Series appearances?
I would say so. I don't know if looser is the right word, but we're having fun. We know how challenging it is. It's not easy. It's not an easy sport. So to put extra pressure on yourself, that's just not the way to do it.
Next question's from Jason Stark. Go ahead.
Cody, when your team has been to 2 World Series and hasn't won, does it change the approach in any way when you get to the third? Does it increase the sense of urgency? Does it increase focus? Do you understand the opportunity maybe in some different way?
I think we're all just trusting in each other and understanding how good we are. And like I just said, not putting pressure on ourselves, but going out and having fun and playing our game. And when we do that, we're a really good team.
Next question's from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Who came up with it? I said it today before the game. I was like, if I ever hit one, I said, I'm not touching anybody's arm. I'm going straight foot. And it was pretty funny.
Next question's from Stephanie Abstein. Go ahead.
Cody, what's the most impressive thing you saw Mookie Betts do today?
Stolen base a third. That was such a huge. If I remember correctly, it was a 1 or 2 run game at the time, and stole a third. Got in scoring position for Will maybe, but that stolen base was huge. Just like I said, doing the little things and really helping us win.
Next question's from Rowan Kavner. Go ahead.
No, before the game, if you could fully let the swing loose, what was it kind of like practicing and batting practice and that sort of thing?
Yeah, it's more just trusting that it's fine. And I took swings in the cage and it felt good. I was probably at 80-90%, and then went out batting practice, got loose, and let it. Because I wasn't going to go in the game unprepared, and I just swung like I would in a game for a few swings, and I didn't feel anything. So I knew I was ready to roll.
Next question's from Jack Harris. Go ahead.
Cody, are there any new ways for Mookie to contribute that he hasn't done already this year in these playoffs?
Not that I can think of. He's done about everything. Nothing off the top of my head.
Have you ever played with such a complete and all-around player like that?
No, man. He's so dedicated to doing it. It's nothing's forced. He wants to do it. He wants to win, and you can really learn from that.
Next question's from Tyler Kepner. Go ahead.
How much easier does it make it to be, more confident and to not put pressure on yourself when you have a guy like Mookie and when you have emerged as the stars of the team?
It helps, man. And I mean, we've had, you know, the same group for a while. We're all comfortable with each other. We've been living together for however long, and it's been such a unique year. We're having fun with it, and it's showing. But we got to go out and continue to compete.
I got time for one more. Go ahead, Brooks.
Hey, Cody, during the game, LeBron James tagged you in a tweet after your home run. Have you guys had conversations in the clubhouse about what it would mean just to bring a title back to Los Angeles the same month as the Lakers just did?
Yeah, it would obviously be unbelievable. I think the city of Los Angeles, they just got one with the Lakers, and to be a part of that would be extremely special. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Dodger fans out in Los Angeles and all around the world, so we want to bring it home to them.
Thanks, Cody.
Let's get it.
Mookie Betts now available. First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Mookie, you've become the first player in World Series history to have at least 2 steals, score at least 2 runs, and hit a home run. You talk so much about your responsibility to this team. Do you feel as if that responsibility was met tonight?
Yes and no. You know, I did a good job tonight, but my main responsibility is to win a World Series, and that's all I'm trying to do.
You guys are one step closer. What did you take away from this game in terms of an overall approach from you guys?
Just that you know, the thought was maybe a little carryover effect from all the emotions we went through, the highs and lows of last series. But I mean, I think we all know why we're here. You know, to win a World Series, and that's what we proved today.
Next question's from Tim Brown.
Given there's less technology between at bats for you guys, what did you think about that when you heard it, and what do you think about it now, 3 months later?
You mean as far as like video in between, like going in between innings and stuff?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, there's a lot of things we can take from looking at video in between at bats and make some changes and whatnot. But the circumstances, due to the certain circumstances, we can't, and you know, that's okay. I mean, we're here, we're all here for a reason. We didn't need it when we were younger, and obviously we can play without it. But you know, it'd be nice to have.
Next question's from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Hey, Mookie, stolen bases aren't really a thing anymore in 2020, but you guys are running a little bit here in Texas. Just how valuable is it that dimension of the game to bring it, especially in the postseason and playing pressure?
It's stolen bases are a thing for me. That's how I create runs. That's how I cause a little havoc on the bases, and so I take pride in stealing bases. And you know, once I get on the base pass, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, touch home, and however I get there is how I get there. But I'm going to be aggressive on the base pass.
I know for that last one you mentioned, you had said that you, Seager, were talking about you guys had met, and then you executed a double steal in that last series, I think against San Diego. How'd this one go about?
We didn't talk about it today. It was just, you know, the time and place in the game, and Seags is always watching me, and so I told him before the season starts, you know, if I'm at second, just be ready, because at some point I may make a move, I may not, but you always have to be ready.
Next question's from Pete Abraham. Go ahead.
Mookie, in that 5th inning, how much was the way their defense was aligned allow you to get down the third base line and score that run?
I mean, Joey was pretty close, so I knew I had to work really hard on the secondary and be ready for contact. So I mean, I think they played it pretty good. I was able to go as soon as the ball was hit, and fortunately I think he had to move to his right a little bit, had to make a tough throw, and so I it was just it all kind of unfolded in a good way.
Next question's from Jack Harris. Go ahead.
Mookie, do you like scoring runs more or driving them in?
I like winning, so whichever one is needed that day, I'll try and do that. But you can't do just one. You have to do both.
Next question's from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead.
Mookie, when do you feel like you got good at impacting the game in different ways, whether it's base running or defensively, when you're not swinging it well? I'm not saying you're not swinging it well now, but I feel like for a lot of guys that stuff can sort of spill over into other areas, but it hasn't seemed to be that hasn't seemed to be the case for you this year.
No, they're all separate. So, once you get on the bases, you're not a hitter anymore. There's no need to think about hitting. There's no need to think about defense. You're running the bases. When you're in the outfield, you're on defense. So there's no need to worry about hitting or running the bases. It's just they're all separate things. And so I'm able to compartmentalize each one and focus on the task at hand at the time.
Next question is from Maria Torres. Go ahead.
Mookie, your teammates talk about your day in, day out consistency. Do you remember when in your playing career you kind of decided, like, this is how it has to be?
I think back in 2016, once I came in second in the MVP, I knew it was going to be tough for me to repeat that or get better. And I think I told myself I just want to be consistent. So, watching the greats play, they're all just really consistent. They hit their home runs and constantly, or driving runs constantly, walk constantly, make good plays constantly. There's not just one and then a long period of time before another one. You just have to be good at all aspects of the game all the time. Don't take plays off, and that's I think 2016 was when I told myself that's what I want to do.
Last questions from Stephanie Epstein. Go ahead.
Mookie, obviously, your favorite thing is helping the team win, but on the specific plays that you were involved in tonight, which one are you proudest of, or which one do you think sort of exemplifies what you're trying to do out there?
I think I'm the most proud of the contact play at third. I think got a run obviously there, and then it was first and third, and we scored a couple more, and so I think it just kind of kept the line moving, and so it was a good play there, and got to give credit to the hitters that came up after driving in runs and keeping constant pressure. Just shows that we don't have to hit home runs to be successful.
Thanks, Mookie.
All right, Juwan.
First question's from Alana Rizzo. Go ahead.
Even time to change with so many stars in the game today, Dave. 78 pitches for Kershaw, very efficient. You take him out there after the sixth inning. Is that to save him for something?
Yeah, I mean, you just figure he's going to be on regular for his next start. So you got an 8-1 lead, and with 9 outs to go, we got to be able to protect it.
3 steals in a single inning ties a record from 1912. Mookie said stealing bases is a part of his game. How much does that change the dynamic of what you guys are able to create in terms of being able to score runs without the long ball?
It's great, and that's just another element that Mookie brings. He does a lot of studying, and to be able to create stress, and whether it's stealing a base or just being on base to make the pitcher speed up or not execute a pitch, he creates tension, and he's just a heck of a ball player.
You guys continue to score runs with 2 outs. How impressed are you with the ability to be able to continue going when your guys are down in terms of those numbers?
No, it's great. I think, tonight, honestly, we've done that with 2 outs, but tonight we just took good at-bats all night long, really. And, even not getting the job done, but then Will Smith comes up with a hit, or Cody comes up, or Chris Taylor comes up with a hit. Kiké comes up with a 2-out hit. Corey Seager had 3 walks tonight. And when you're talking about getting the pitch count out with Glasnow, I thought those are great at-bats and were very pivotal. But, yeah, just up and down the lineup, Alana, really good stuff.
Next question's from Alden Gonzalez. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, what was your plan with Kershaw for that 6th inning when it was still a 1-run game? How long or short a leash was he going to have? I'm just wondering how much a 4-run inning might have changed the decision. How much a 4-run inning might have made the decision easier for you?
Well, I thought he was throwing the baseball well, so he was going to go back out there until we started adding on some more runs. But I felt good the way he was throwing the baseball.
Next question's from Tim Brown. Go ahead.
About the lack of video between at-bats, maybe within the game, less technology, and also the way people talk about Mookie, about the willfulness in which he plays, the instinctiveness and things like that. Do you think that because of those 2 things within the game, that is almost an advantage for a guy like Mookie Betts?
I do. He's old school, man. He likes to talk baseball, talk to his teammates, watch the game. And, I just love it, and I think it keeps his teammates engaged, keeps him engaged, and keeps guys on the bench. And just to hear the back and forth with the players between the hitting guys and also on the defensive side when you're talking about positioning and things like that. For me as a coach, it's just great to hear that, and I think that he brings a lot of that out in our players as well.
Next question is from Maria Torres. Go ahead. Go ahead. Next question is from Tyler Kepner. Go ahead.
The emergence of Cody over the last couple of years, the addition of Mookie Betts, you had a 15, 17, and 18, but how much did those two guys being at the top of their game elevate this whole group?
As far as Cody and who?
Adding Mookie.
Yeah, no, I mean they're you look at just sheer talent. They're a couple of the best players in all of baseball. And now you take Mookie, who's really impacted us, obviously, as we talk so much about, in so many ways on both sides of the baseball as well as on the bases. And Cody just made another great play tonight defensively, the homer a couple nights ago, and just taking really good at bats. So, yeah, Mookie's going to get the best of everybody, but now, you layer in Cody and the experience that he's had in the postseason and learning from that, and I think you can bucket Corey in that same conversation.
Next question is from Jorge Castillo. Go ahead.
Stolen bases obviously aren't as big as when you used to play. But just how valuable is that dimension of a stolen base and the threat of a stolen base game when this kind of game, so much pressure and Glass now being on the road?
Yeah, Glass now, he's got a quick move. Still, he can get slow and wants to execute pitches like all pitchers. But I think that having guys that the threat of the stolen base if he has to quicken up just a little bit in his from the stretch. At second base, I think he got a little bit tried to be a little bit too worried about Mookie. Ultimately, Mookie stole the base. But yeah, when you have guys like Chris Taylor, Mookie, and some other guys, Cody, when he's right, that can create tension. I think that's a good thing.
Can you repeat that?
Do you think you guys are better at that this year than past, the recent years you guys have been here?
I think that in recent years, I can't really recall as far as who was on base, as far as personnel, but Mookie certainly adds a lot to it. But I know Chris Taylor in years past has been that guy for us, but certainly, a guy who's an elite base stealer like Mookie just makes everybody and that kind of stolen base aspect much, a bigger part of our offense.
Next question's from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead.
Starts game 2, Dave.
What's that?
Who starts game 2?
We're going to start Gonsolin.
And what is the thinking there? Just the most rested guy?
Rested, just feel that, he started, come out of the pen, but we just like him in this spot.
Next question's from Jared Diamond. Go ahead.
Dave, what did you see on that play where Mookie scored from third on the grounder? Just how impressive was it that he was actually able to score on that play?
Yeah, really good primary lead. And that's a contact play right there, and just got a really good break and understand the ball is going to come from the right side of the diamond, so he kind of went around to avoid that tag. So just a heads-up play, a lot of speed also played into that.
Next question is from Pete Abraham. Go ahead.
What should that double steal kind of set up the rest of that inning for you?
Yeah, it did. We did that in the Padres series as well, and Corey as a back runner, the trail runner, did a nice job being heads up. But loved Justin up there, but punched on the high ball right there. But still, with one out to get second and third to make it situational was huge.
Next question's from Kerry Osborne. Go ahead.
Closely did you consider bringing Clayton in Game 7 of the last series, and how important was it the way that you handled him to give him the opportunity to impact this Game 1?
Yeah, I think that we were going to make sure we stayed away from him in Game 7 just for this particular reason. Having guys rested in Game 7 and also just having him ready and rested to deploy for this game, which obviously was really important, and Clayton threw the heck out of it tonight.
Next question's from Stephanie Abstein. Go ahead.
Dave, what's the most amazing thing you saw Mookie do tonight?
I think that Oppo home run was pretty impressive. He's got some pull side hits, but just going dead right was pretty impressive. Certainly that stolen base was impressive. We've seen that, but I think that Oppo dead right was pretty impressive.
Next question is from Claudia Guestro. Go ahead.
Dave, the pitching seems very focused against a very tough lineup. How inspiring is to see them handle the Rays bats?
It's great, and it started with Clayton. He set the tone. He was very good, very efficient. The slider wasn't great early. The fastball was good all night, and the fastball command, the curveball was good. So for him to get us through 6, and kind of match up a little bit, I thought Pedro was really good, and Joe Kelly was good. So it was good to kind of prevent runs tonight.
Next question is from Eric Steven. Go ahead.
Dave, with Tony only on 2 days rest, is it still a situation where one or both of Dustin May and Julio Urias are also available tomorrow?
Yeah, they're both available, and we'll just kind of see, how the game plays out.
Next question is from Jack Harris. Go ahead.
Dave, what does it tell you about the way Mookie doesn't seem to really celebrate his home runs that much, but these other smaller plays, the getting home, the things he does in the field, he can get amped up about?
I think it just speaks to he's just, when there's things of whether it's a defensive play that helps the team or a base running play that gets himself into scoring position for a teammate to drive in a run, I think he just gets more satisfaction out of that. When it's a home run, which certainly helps the team, he just doesn't care for the self kind of, all the statistics. I think he just plays the game to win, and I think even better if other guys get the credit.
Next question is from Brooks Smith. Go ahead.
I'm good. The question is asked.
I got time for one more. Go ahead, Alana.
Dave, Corey with 3 walks tonight. Do you just get the sense that they want nothing to do with him?
Yeah, absolutely, and I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to pitch to Corey either, and I just give credit to Corey because those 3 at-bats, and I don't know how many pitches he saw in those first 3 at-bats, but to shorten up Glasnow and make him, to stress him a little bit by taking those walks was huge, and just a credit to Corey again. I mean, he's done it all postseason, just the value of 90 feet and taking good at-bats all the time.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.